The Almost Perfect Podcast.
Welcome to the Almost Perfect Podcast, a celebration of fuck ups, failures, and falling flat on your face. This is a podcast that believes you can learn from experience, but that experience doesn't have to be your own. Hi, I'm Bob Perfect, and I'm a functional fuck up. Let's learn from somebody else's mistakes. And today we're learning from Sanele Cele. Now, Sanele is a fashion designer and entrepreneur, and he's the main man behind Tepracha, which, if you know a little something about fashion in South Africa, you've probably heard of Tepracha. And if you don't know a little something about South African fashion, then you're going to learn a lot in this podcast. And even if you do know something about it, you're going to learn a lot in this podcast, because Sanele has a lot of wisdom and a lot that he has learned in, his life and in his time on this planet. Now, Sanele and I actually go back about 8 years now. Yeah, 8 years now. I think it was 2011. That we first met up. We were part of a blogging team that was competing against other blogs. Yes, this was a thing that happened for STR.CRD, which was this big event that used to happen in Joburg. I don't think it still does. But yeah, it was a pretty cool event, and we got put together because, it was just this weird thing. We chat about it on the podcast, so you'll get to hear how it all came together. But basically, we were just thrown together. We didn't know each other from a bar of soap. Us and another guy, MT, who Sanele was friends with for ages. I just got asked to be a part of this blogging team with them, and we became friends, and we had a great time, even though, we never got paid for our work, which is stuff that we actually talk about in this conversation. Money comes up quite a bit, about the things of not getting paid, about complaining about that sort of thing. And Sanele's got some views that I think are going to touch some people the wrong way, which definitely makes him a great guest on this podcast. I don't necessarily agree with him on everything, and that's why I enjoy hanging out with Sanele. I enjoy chatting to him. I enjoy, getting his perspective on the world and getting his perspective on things, because he really does have, a unique perspective, and he's achieved so much with very little, and he's constantly reinvested in himself, and he's constantly taken what he does have and taking the opportunities he gets, and he maximizes them. And I think that's something we can all learn a lot from. So I'm looking forward to you hearing this podcast and getting some info. I was trying to say they're like getting some feedback from you, and I just went getting some info. See, I don't know. My brain doesn't always work for me when I'm doing these things. But thankfully, it's called the Almost Perfect Podcast, so I don't need to stress too much about it. So if I called it the Perfect Podcast, man, I would have to re-edit and re-edit and re-edit. But I've got this little cop-out now. I do want to say, unfortunately, one of my microphones isn't working, and I can't get it repaired at the moment, but I will soon. Hopefully, at the end of this month, I'll be able to fix it, and we'll get some good audio quality going again. This obviously sounds great. I'm speaking into a regular mic, but this podcast and last week's one and the one with Charles and the next few are probably going to sound a little echoey. Because I'm recording straight off of the Zoom instead of using microphones. Just for now, as soon as I can afford it, I will fix the other microphone. But the problem is that, what was I going to say? Not the problem. The thing is that I just want to keep going with this, I don't want to stop just because it doesn't sound as great as it can. I want to keep putting out episodes. I hate that I've actually missed so many weeks this year. And I have the goal of trying to put these out every single Wednesday. So I want to stick to that. And, the audio quality sounds a little bit not as great as I would like it, but it's still definitely listenable. It's still great, in general, you're going to enjoy the podcast. I don't know why I'm underselling it now, but I just want you to know that, yes, the audio quality isn't as good as it should be, but it will get back there pretty soon. As soon as I can make that happen, I will. And if you like the podcast, well, you know what you can do. You can go on and like us on Facebook at the Almost Perfect Podcast. You can also follow us on Twitter at almost_podcast. You can also follow me on Instagram at almostperfectbob. I'm also Bobness Monster on Twitter if you want to have my stream of consciousness in your stream of consciousness. And other than that, if you really like the podcast, you can follow us. No, you can subscribe on patreon.com/almost perfect. Patreon's a subscription service where basically you get a little bit more out of me, and I get some money out of you. because this podcast comes to you for free, and it will always come to you for free, but you do have the option, if you want, to subscribe and chip in a little, and hey, maybe you can help me get that microphone fixed a little sooner. There's different tiers. There's like $1, $5, $10, I think. And I haven't had a competition there for a while, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to try to organize something for this month. And yeah, I can reward you all for being patrons on the Patreon. And I said it correctly. Yes. Long-time listeners of the podcast will know I always fuck that up. So I'm pretty stoked. I finally got it right. And with that, without further ado, I'm actually going to let us get into this podcast. Like I said, Sanele knows a ton about fashion. He's got a great business mind, and he's he's a bit of a punk, He definitely is like, fuck the system in a lot of different ways, and he definitely sees the world in a different way to many people. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about this one. You can hit me up on almostperfectpod@gmail.com, I think. If you email that and nothing, it bounces back, then rather just hit me up on any of the social media platforms. I'd love to get your feedback. And also, you can go to iTunes, or just iTunes, I think it is, and leave a review or some stars and stuff like that on Apple Podcasts and iTunes. I would greatly appreciate that. So yeah, without further ado, here comes the Almost Perfect Podcast with Sanele Cele. How you living, Sanele?
I'm good, bro.
You're good. Shit, man. We've got some history. Do you remember how we met?
Yeah. It was via that whole street cred situation.
The street cred situation.
Yeah, 2011.
Yeah, so we were part of like this blogging competition. You and NT had started this blog called Street Soul Avenue.
Yeah, man.
Had you so this was this competition that we did against a few different blogs across the country. But were the blogs set up for the competition, or were they set up before that and you guys just entered in?
No. But the thing is, like, I had my own personal blog, and he had just gone into his thing, and he's doing his side of the world. So at that time, Street Soul Avenue was actually started around just for the whole competition.
Okay.
Because like that was the whole thing. It was like, okay, cool, start up something totally different, a new blog, create a whole buzz in a whole month, in just 1 month, and that was the challenge.
That was, and it was quite a challenge. So
yeah,
I'd been running Durban as yours for a few months at this time, and then got the call up because you guys needed like a third member, and I got a call from Roger Young, who was just like, "Do you want to join these guys?" And I was like, sure, having no clue what was actually going on. And then we met, actually, I think right here, up the road from where I live, at Bean Green. And I remember you asking me, like, what I do, and I was like, I'm a hustler.
Nah, but like, that's the thing, though. Like, with Roger, he hit me up. He was like, okay, don't you, I have this perfect guy for you guys. I'm like, for what? It's like, nah, it's going to help with the blogging thing. It was a weird one. I'm like, okay, cool. Because at that time, in what I was doing for my personal blog too, like I was just first out writing about personal feelings. And I guess within that whole time doing it, like I just met up with the right type of people at that point that were able to help it and get it to that point. But at the same time, it wasn't a thing for me because like I didn't know there was a whole culture around it. I just thought it was going to be a place where I could just write about whatever,
Yeah, your own personal space.
Yeah, it was my personal space, Yeah. But it ended up being that, and I ended up in that whole competition thingy.
How did you find out about it? How did you enter into it?
I did not. That's the thing. That's what I'm telling you. Like, I did not enter anything. Like, they hit me up.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Because, like, I started doing that. Like, that whole blogging vibe, it wasn't even a thing at that time. I think the people that were still around, it was like Ulufu, Urban Masadi. Pretty sure, Malum Kukat was already on it, when he was starting on his yeah. It started on Blogspot, funny enough, and then we went into Tumblr.
Oh, snap.
It started on Blogspot. That's where we all were,
Yeah, that was Blogspot. Blogspot was the Google, like, blogging platform.
Yep, at that particular point. And that just started a whole AdSense thingy, too. So there was coins at that time. I do not know what happened to that, if it's still alive, but, like, it worked at that particular point.
Yeah, man, and then we created this blog, and then we had to compete against, I think it was Brain Feeder, Bitches Must Know, and what was the other one? Oh, no, not Brain Feeder, Opinion Feeder.
Opinion Feeder, and
Bitches Must Know, and then the Jozi
Last Sweaty Click, I think. That was like the one with sweat face.
With sweat face. Oh yeah, that was the Joburg one.
It was the bloody sweaty click or some shit.
But we were just like, fuck you, but just my story.
Well, those are actually the enemies. I think because we were good with everybody.
Yeah,
we were good with everybody. The opinion video guys, I was pretty cool. I'm still cool with.
Yeah,
cool
man.
with them now.
Jonah, yeah, dude.
I still talk to Jonah, and yeah, but like the other guys, they was just like fuck, bitches just no fuck those guys.
Yeah, it's funny because Nikki St. Bruce and I are now like friends, but like the amount of like trash talking we were doing. Like I don't know if like they were as involved in this whole like
but like
they were just
they
like,
just
competing.
the thing is with me, it was just like I hate people who think they're cooler than everybody.
Yeah. And that was what they were projecting for
the whole time. And I even remember this point in time when I don't know where we were going. To some dinner thingy.
Yeah, and we go taxi.
And they couldn't open a quantum door, bro. I mean, I'm sitting there and they're fucking acting all high and mighty about it. But I'm sitting there, I open this door fucking every day of my life. I got skills to open the store.
Yeah, like how can this be called street cred?
You know, and these people didn't even know when they were talking about kicks that we can't afford.
Yeah, that was what was the line? Like, oh yeah, like they're talking about kicks we can't even afford airtime.
Hey, bro. And you're sitting there, you can't even afford proper airtime, but these guys talking about all of this and how they're the only ones that have it. So it was just me. It wasn't even a personal thing. It was just, I guess it was just me fighting my own insecurities at that particular point in time. I think they were kind of assholes.
Yeah, we were definitely, but we were also assholes.
Yeah. Well, that's how we won the competition, actually, by big assholes.
Oh, yeah.
That's how we got the competition, and then we never got anything for it.
Never got the prizes. Yeah, there was a big fuck up. But that was, like, a good eye-opener for me in terms of, like, how the industry actually works. Yeah. How you get sold out. Like, you get given experiences that are dope, but like you never really make money out of these things. Like they use you for branding, they use you to push, because that's what essentially happened with that competition was they were like, we can push street cred by these bloggers.
And we actually did.
The thing. Yeah, dude.
And we actually did.
Yeah, we put it out there for a lot of people, and like I'm not gonna say I didn't have a great experience.
Yeah.
But I do feel like I did a lot of work for free.
I know, because like you were sitting there and doing all of this, and we did a lot of pushing for that too.
Yeah, one of the cool things we got for that though, one of the things I remember was interviewing Theopolis London on a fucking cell phone.
A shitty cell phone too. Even the video. I think the video's still online.
I'm trying to find it because the blog's no longer.
No. I'll look for it.
Please do, because I want to see that. I want to see that interview again.
Yeah, it was trash though. Yeah, the whole recording. I remember the whole recording was trash. But damn, it was an experience and a half. Because like we weren't ready for something of that magnitude. And then we were sitting there like,
remember our rooms?
You have no cameras. We're like, no. And the guy's manager was like, nah, let's not do this. Let's not.
Yeah,
and he was like, and he was like, nah, it's fine. Let the guys do it.
We actually got a pretty decent interview out of it. Like
because like what everything was organic about it. Like all these other guys, like they had questions set. We came with no questions whatsoever.
Yeah, we had some questions.
Nah.
I'd done some research. I had some ideas.
You know, because like with me it was okay. I think it was okay because like I love the artist, you know. Even on my phone right now, I even still have that album. The crazy thing, I still do. I still have him on my phone. Yeah.
Damn, man. So you're still a fan.
I was just like in love with that little project. That's just me, man.
But I remember, like him stopping the interview because the lead singer of the Blackjacks walked in,
yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, I'm from New York," and like
there was you see with that too. Even in that situation, there was an eye opener for me.
Same,
like,
dude.
I wasn't exposed to such things that there's actually guys within our culture, and there's this semi-famous type of guy that rolls around with Kanye in these art circles, and he's talking about guys from Soweto, you know, he's sitting there, I'm like, shit, actually, there's a life out there, you know, and how he was talking, he was a fan at that particular point.
Yeah, he loved like, Blackjacks.
I love these guys, I met these guys in New York, whatever, blah, 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 and I'm sitting like, okay, shit, we can be okay. Even when we met those guys, who was it? Those guys from Singapore? Mr. Lee? No, that was guy from Pata.
I'm
What's
trying to
his
remember
name?
what the cats who does the sneakers.
The sneakers, yeah.
Oh, I can't remember his name, but yeah, like I was so bummed because I was meant to do that course with them, and then like the timing was like they told me the wrong time. And, like, yeah.
Nah, like I'm still with them. I spoke with them like for a couple of years after that.
Yeah, I remember you guys like had a good connection.
They sent me a couple of things. They sent me a couple of things I have at home. You know, they've even sent me stuff like got me connected with Jeff Staples. You know, talked to a couple of people through them. You know, but like I guess with time, like everything just kind of disappeared. But like actually seeing that and checking them out online, because like I'm not even gonna lie and say I knew them prior. No, I did not.
There was a lot of stuff that I did not know about going into that.
That's what I'm saying. Like with me, like everything, I guess things at that time like just changed quite quick. You know, because like I always tell people, as much as street cred was like a tad bit of a bad one, but for me it was an eye opener to a whole different life.
That's how I feel about it as well. It was because even for me, like, you know, I'd been a part of like the music scene, you know, like on the streets, and like, but organic, you know, people, you know, putting DIY shows together kind of shit. I wasn't a part of the industry, you know, I wasn't a part, like I had no clue like how things really worked, you know. I had this. I
think we were like
we were kids, man.
We were like the odds were out there because like we as much as we knew it was there, but like
everyone else
I knew
was
it was
kind of
there.
in advertising. They were, you know, like they had gone to like film school or some shit. You know, everyone like we were competing.
They understood the well. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. With me, I didn't understand, but with where I was coming from in Durban, because like I was with Run DVN at that time, so I was with A1. With all Pound and all those guys, you know, Sketchy at that time. We were doing events at that particular point too on the side.
We'll talk about that just now.
Yeah. So that was a whole nother life. But like now, this was my life. This is where I wanted to be, and it's all being shown in a matter of like a week. You know, and I was sitting there. I was like, shit. After that, like I'm not gonna lie, totally my life changed because that's the same place I meet New Balance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the very same time because it was over a cigarette.
Yeah, man, I just, like, I didn't utilize that weekend in that way. I saw you connecting with people and stuff, but, like, I just felt like such an outsider. Like, it was...
Oh, because, like... I remember, though, but, like, you see, the thing is that you were feeling... I was like, in the exact same type of situation. I was in the exact same type of situation, but the thing is, too, I was speaking, and these are all things that I was interested in, so I had to pursue. So most of the time, like even when I met these guys, it was via this guy, King Ads, and this other lady. That was
King Ads, dude. King Ads is dope.
From Street Cred. Those are the things, because like these guys with New Balance were sitting there, and I was having a cigarette. King Ads wanted a lighter, gave him a lighter. We spoke, blah blah blah, and then this lady just called me. It's like, oh, they'll meet these guys from New Balance. And I'm not gonna lie to you, meeting them the first time, I kind of lied with a lot of things, you know.
What do you mean?
Nah, cause like when I spoke to them, you know, cause like I had a fairly good knowledge on New Balance. At that particular point too, I was wearing New Balance sneakers, you know. Then I started talking to these guys and I started asking them about their product, but like only to realize that these guys barely knew anything about the brand in itself. I think maybe it was probably because of maybe like they just got the jobs, but like they were not really in tune with within the culture itself, you know, or how New Balance had happened, or because street culture fairly back then was still trying to unite in terms of like the internet world. You get what I'm trying to say? So with these guys from New Balance, they knew nothing about the streets.
Damn.
Yeah.
But I mean, but that was the case a lot back then, and it still is the case to quite a degree. But more and more brands, at least, are hiring people who actually come from the streets, which is useful. Because
you know what happened? We started talking about it, and I started talking about, you know, like the type of kicks that I like from New Balance, even though I was wearing a pair at that time. And I started talking about other shit that they didn't even know when I'm sitting in like, okay, let's carry on. We kind of told them, like, I told them I did events, but like we were doing night events that had nothing to do with the culture in itself. We had moved past that whole doing shows at Bad Center, and we were doing night events, like at clubs. So you
see those two as different things. You don't see night events as like part of the culture. Like
no. That world was totally different, whatever it is that we were doing at that point. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay. It's kind of how like you'll find 47 or whatever. That's like an entirely different world. I'm not gonna lie. At that time though, it wasn't in tune. It was like when we started doing big night events, it was like we've just entered into the outer world, you know. But like we were bringing these guys because nobody was doing like full on hip hop events at night at that particular.
Yeah, man.
point.
Run DBN was a movement like that.
Yeah, at that time I
Took over.
remember because like even our first event, bro, we'd get there, we'd do events, and like 10 people would come at night, you know, and but like we were like, fuck it,
Wow.
let's have fun.
But you guys also had house parties and stuff, and like.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's where it all started. But like when we went to the nightlife, most of these kids that we were with, and it was still the crumb situation going on at Bad Center, and I saw that too, because like I started selling my clothes around about the same time those guys were there, you know. So when we did that, now it was time to make this transition with these people and bring them this side. But like they're all young kids, you know, we're all young, we're not used to the nightlife or whatever. So we'd do events, some would leave at like 10, bro. You know, like the event started at 6. Now they gotta go home. I remember these group of guys from North Beach that had to walk to North Beach, and I'm sitting there like, fuck. Even this one time I had a fight where I ended up at a police station because like I was helping them. Yeah, they were being bullied by these other cats. I don't know, they tried to mug them or whatever, but we had a whole fight.
Fuck, dude.
Like a proper hand in hand, and I was the one that was actually taken to the police station.
Yeah, I don't think I've been arrested for fighting. I've been arrested
Like for
for
me,
lots of other things.
I was basically
Well,
helping
lots
in
of
the
things.
situation, but like these guys were coming for my events, you know.
Yeah, you've got to look after.
Yeah, so we did that, but like I ended up overdoing things, I guess. So like there was that. So that's what I'm saying. So when I spoke to these guys from New Balance, get back to that, and I just told them we would do these events because like I had been around it, and there was other kids that were doing events at the Pet Center now. Then so when I told them that, they were like, "Nah, do you mind if we like send branding, maybe give you a couple of kicks to actually like, you know."
Didn't you eventually end up on posters?
But like I'm gonna get to that. They said they were like, okay, cool, you can pick it up. So now I had to go to this kid now and tell him, it's like I have this brand that wants to do this, because I had lied to them and told them that we're still doing this. Even the pictures I pulled out weren't even mine. So basically I was hustling at that time. I pulled out the pictures. It was this kid's event that I hadn't even spoken to, but the kid knows me. I haven't spoken to the kid.
But so you hit him up afterwards, like, yo, I got the sponsorship.
Yeah, and then I did that, and then it was like that, boom. So they didn't know anything though. They just knew me as a blogger. They didn't know that I did fashion.
But you got into blogging because you did fashion.
Because of that. But like now, it was me introducing myself to them as somebody different. Because when we talked, I was a person who loves clothes and was there for the blogging, and we didn't talk about the fashion part. But when I showed them the shoots that we did at that point in time, they're like, shit. So that's when they started looking at me differently. And then we ended up like, there was like, do I mind if they offered me a sponsorship type thing? Yeah. You know?
And
send me the contract.
And when New Balance did that, like, how did you feel, and how did people respond to you? Like, did it put you on the map a bit more?
I think that at that point in time, because now I'm on a different league now. Now I'm at a place where nobody was sponsored at that time, you know, and there's these guys that are offering me a platform for that, you know. And which is a contract that I actually, the messed up thing is I never signed. Yeah, they only sent me it, and I was like, I think we were fine the way that we were working, you know. It's just like, we can do this. And we just talked it out. We just hashed it out with Justin at that time. We talked about it like verbally and things that I needed. And that was it.
So
I never sent the contract. I still have it. I never signed it.
So essentially you were on flow.
Yeah, I was on flow. But like with them, I was under contract because like we just made it verbal. But like I wasn't going to sign anything. So with them, we were building. I grew with them. Like with me, it put me on a different league, because like, and how people looked at me was like, shit, this guy's legit now. He's got a sponsorship. But like it was weight at that point, you know. It was like, fuck, it was serious weight. But the thing is with me, when I think about it now, it was weight. Yeah. But when I was in it, I didn't realize.
Really? You didn't think that it happened like this?
It was the whole thing with this Markham's thing. I actually realized after a couple of months that, shit, I've gone to a point in time where I actually was in contract with Markham's, and those are things that I dreamt about back then, but when I was in it, I didn't even notice.
Do you want to take so?
I don't know. I think it's, I don't know, it's like maybe me being humble way too far, or maybe like not even noticing the person that you actually slowly become. Because when I'm in it, like even my brother would tell me, like he'd come to me, he's like, bro, if I was temperature that amount of pussy, I'd be getting the amount of this, I'd be getting if I were you. But like here you're stuck and you beating up your head with one girl and whatever.
But the thing is, people don't get, well, I mean, Eddie, that's just whack priorities. But people don't get that when you're in the thing, when you're doing the thing, you're too busy doing the thing to really notice
anything,
what it all means.
anything.
You know, like,
and like with me, like I have this nature. I talk to everybody.
yeah.
So most kids would come to me. It's like I can't believe like that. I've looked at your work and I've looked at you in this certain type of man, and then I got to you, but like you like just average going dude. You know, like you don't know me, you don't know my work, but like. You're just going at it and we're throwing ideas or we're talking like with the kid that's never done anything. But I'm like, I've been you.
Yeah.
You know, I've been you. And at that point in time, and me being you, I would have needed somebody like me at this point in time. So in whatever it is that you need to do, I need to be there. Because I come from a place where he told me like, I never do that. My uncle Plena told me that I would never become anything. You know, I should change because I was good at academically at school.
Yeah.
So it's like, nah, don't do art, that shit, or do fashion. It's not going to take you anywhere. You know, you're going to become useless.
And I mean, like, that's an understandable fear, like, from them. But at the same time, look at everything you've done by not listening to them.
Yeah. I think that's the best thing. But the thing is now, because I ended up getting to a point in time where he has never came back and acknowledged that. But then how I found out about that is how people tell me and how he's been gloating about me. Type thing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. But he's never said anything to me till this day. There's even things that were guys like I remember there was a point in time where he came and this guy came and was like, yo, there's this jacket I saw from your uncle, blah blah blah. I don't know how he got the jacket, but like I think he bought it to my cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, went to bought it for me and gave it to him. Like, but you understand how messed up it was. But I'm cool. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. But like I'm happy I just didn't listen.
I'm so
That's all, bro.
My hoodie that you gave me.
Yeah.
And T from Rude Boys has it.
Yeah.
I lent it to him one night, so I still don't have it.
And he kept it.
Well, we've just never met up again.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good, bro. It's all good. But like right now, like I'm actually working at trying to make things at reach at this point in time. Because like I've been quiet for a very while.
Yeah, you have been quiet, but you mentioned the Markham's thing. What was the Markham's thing?
Basically what happened, I think it was 2016.
By the way, they brought it up at the KZN Fashion Council dinner this year.
Is it?
Yeah, your name was mentioned.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dog.
That's crazy. I didn't even know because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
No. I stopped going to the council meetings, council anything, bro. Yeah, I stopped doing council everything. Because the one thing that I didn't like was the whole backwardness of everything when you get there. Because like you find a whole lot of people complaining throughout the whole meeting and like what did we come there for? Are we coming to get solutions or to give more complaints? You know, because when you come from a place, I don't know if it's me being selfish, but like I come from a place where I've been in situations where you have nothing in your pocket, you can't eat, you can't buy this, you can't do that, and you find people sitting there complaining throughout the whole time who are probably older than you, complaining about like the littlest of things, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, nah, that's not how I got out of there. You know, it's like that's not how you get out of there. We come up with solutions, you know, for what we don't have and for what we have, you know. So like with me, with my creativity, it's always like limit the resources and heighten the creativity.
Yeah.
So that was the whole thing. Is like just use the little that you have. So think about and utilize. Because like I did collections with like 2,000 rand. You know, did full collections with that because I'd get there.
I remember like some of your hustle, some of the stuff you'd tell me back in the day. Like,
hey, bro, like
you'd be able to flip stuff, like yeah.
I did collections. Like I'd sit there at home and people think like I have this atelier or I have this whole factory behind me. But
a sewing machine. Dude.
I was making every piece myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, with my guys that I'll find along, and I'd buy like secondhand machines and would sit there. 2 men do a full collection that is gonna sell at a store, and we'll finish it. We'll work for 3 days and no sleep, you know. So now you're getting to a place where you're getting like, it puts me down, you know, because like I'm very empathetic towards that. I'm an empath. Okay, I can put that out there too, you know. So I soak in a lot of vibes like very easily. So at times I gotta distinguish whether it's mine or somebody else's. So at that point in time, I sit there and you're soaking in everybody because like they're so negative, everybody's complaining and nobody's trying to give solutions. But these guys, they're telling us they have access to money that we're never getting.
Why are you never getting it?
I do not know, because most of the time, most of everything the money is allocated to what they want to do. It's not allocated to what
What's
we
actually
want to do
necessary.
or what we have to get to.
I
Like,
mean,
what's the point of
But
doing?
that's why people complain.
And that's the problem. Is it's like, how are you doing more shows when there's people that don't have clothes to show at those shows? So the money most of the time that they're gonna use is the last bit of cash to make a show for you saying you getting them out there.
But
Meanwhile, you don't even know what they need. But how you gonna getting them out there if you don't know what they need? And I'm not gonna lie to you. I love DFF. Yes, it's a big stage you can put out there. But like, if the stage is not doing or giving proper manpower to the people there, then it's kind of useless. I'm not gonna lie to you.
yeah, like here's a stage for you, but there's no
It's like-
training, no
There's no business.
practice, no nothing.
There's no business whatsoever. In 2016, like, I was called a fool by a lot of people because like these guys wanted to put money for us to go to like the biggest trade fair for men's fashion in the world, PTU Omo, in Florence, in
Okay.
Italy. And when we got there, we sat down because like I'd gotten the chance for those months to actually go to Milan.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I was sitting there and I'm listening to everybody telling us, "Oh, you guys are doing amazing stuff, blah blah blah." So you guys, I feel as if like we want to do a pavilion and pitch you almost so we can take you guys there. And everybody was celebrating, and I said to them like,
What am I actually getting?
"I am not going there." They were like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "You telling me I can't even manufacture my own fabric, let alone do I know anybody who does? How am I gonna go to the biggest trade fair in the whole world when one of these guys, there's not even one of these guys that is using a proper manufacturing chain and can't even custom make their own fabric, but you're gonna go to the biggest trade fair in the whole world and you
just
can't
saw that
even
as a waste.
provide clothes for people in your own city? How you gonna get to a stage where now you have to get orders probably of like 1 million and you can't even produce 10, and you can't even produce for that one guy that's picking it up on Friday? So how we gonna go to the biggest stage in the world? And you guys are gonna be paying this X amount, but I'm like, why don't you take the very same money and okay, these 10 people you selected are people that actually see can actually do the business. Take that money, put it in us and tell us, okay, cool, this you're giving us 5 months, proper manpower, put in that money, and then pay some people to actually assess those people. If we moving forward and you start creating formidable businesses and we start having chains and understand, it's like, if I need this denim manufactured, I know who to go to. These guys in PE produce this, we do that. But now you're getting to a point in time where we're still dependent on Chinese shipped in fabric. Yeah, that could be like, seriously, like you could actually get there the next day and find that the fabric is not there because somebody else bought it. You don't have proper chains. You get what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
So those are things that I was saying.
So
That
you're saying the infrastructure here should be invested in, but instead they're like trying to do these grand things and these big things.
yeah,
Of,
like
here's a big fair, or we're sending people to Italy.
To Italy, like that. With them, that's the trophy.
But well, yeah, because that looks good.
It looks good, but it is not good.
But yeah,
You know,
it doesn't actually help.
Because like it was a messed up situation when I was sitting there and I was telling them the previous years, like, why don't you stop taking people to Italy or Milan? Because it seemed as if like maybe I was just being ungrateful of the opportunity that I had been given. But with me, I had realized that we could do far better than what we had did. Because as much as it did something, yes, it opened up a whole lot to me because I wanted to learn. There's some people that didn't get anything, and there's like probably 90% didn't get anything out of it.
I can imagine. Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? And the only reason, like with me, I proper thick got everything. It was like I had already been invested in the whole internet world, so I knew a whole lot of people that side. Or I know a lot of people that were in London who were there at that time, and some were in Paris who actually traveled down by train to come and see me and put me in places. That's it, you know? But there wasn't everybody that was like that. So pretty much I could kind of say blatantly, because this is a podcast, the whole thing was a tad bit worthless, you know, as much as it might push my hunger, but I feel as if like the money they threw in that whole thing was invested back into us.
Like you just feel like it was a bad investment.
Yeah. But with me it helped though, a lot, because like that's what I'm saying, it's just like I had come from a place where I had nothing, so most of the cash that we were given to us to actually live or sustain ourselves I did before we could leave. Like I just separate the cash in like 60%. I left 60% of it this side, and I put it in a different account. I left it and I took the 20%, and they were laughing at me when I did it. It's like, how are you gonna survive all these months? I was like, you do not know me. I told him like that. I was like, you do not know me. The first day we got there, apartment, everything, I just bought groceries and put them in there. I was like, I'm gonna survive here. And then I started surviving, but I ended up coming back with more than I had. So that's how I ended up. Like I have an atelier right now of machinery proper. I have a small little micro factory going on.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I've seen you do that through the years. I remember when you had that spot. Where was it? It's down by Station Drive. Station Drive was just starting up. You got in there, and you had like you had 2 or 3 machines in there, and you had another dude with you. Like
but now I probably have 12. Cause of such things, and such decisions, it's like I'd say, my background helped in that, but like I just feel as if like these people need to cut down on the luxury, man, and take the money and actually put it in the creatives themselves and properly making businesses out of it, and that's how the GDP is gonna actually survive.
Yeah, instead of spending that money on flats, buy kids machines.
Yeah, buy the machines, take them to, or invite people that actually like do proper business. Monitor those people. Like we creatives, man. In terms of business, we need to be forced into it. You understand? Because like with me, like a shitload of bad investing and money usage messed me up, so I ended up forcing myself into understanding certain things. But it wasn't all cause of all these trips that they took me in.
I'm only now learning about business, dude. Yep. Like stuff I should have known. Like, before I started Durban as yours, might have, wanted to read a book about fucking business.
Bro, I probably still know 30% myself, but it's just the basic things to keep me surviving.
Yeah.
But I'm still learning myself. I'm not gonna lie to you. And two, being a nomad, like I'm very hard. And I'm very stubborn to a certain degree with certain types of things.
Yeah, you are.
Hey, bro, I'm an asshole. Trust me.
At times.
Yeah, I can be, but it's like whatever. I don't care. But hey, that's just what it is, man. But I just feel as if like they need to stop all these parties and just bring the money and put it in the upcoming kids. That's what they need to do. Give them proper manpower.
People need resources.
Proper manpower, bro. Like that is the best thing they can do for themselves. Because after that, the industry is gonna create itself. But it's pointless trying to create like the cradle of the industry. That's like the end of it. Yeah. But like, there's no time.
Exactly.
There's no trace. There's no build.
Yeah, you're just shooting people straight to the end.
To the end.
Like, and then now they're like, "Fuck! I haven't learned how to play this game."
Basically,
you're in the final level.
They know nothing. Like that's what I'm saying. Like they've been taken to that. Like they'll help them, take them to SA Fashion Week. You're getting there, and you're sitting there. It's like,
I have no idea what the fuck's going on.
What the fuck is going on? Yeah. Because like with a lot of things, like I even remember they were like, okay, well, cool, we go into this country. Do you guys have like licenses or trade export import like license number? Do you have that? But the thing is, like, you'd find at that particular point I was the only one that had that. Because I don't know why. Because of like the streets, like I met people at street cred too, people you talk to, even stores, So you start learning of these little things throughout the way. It prepared me before I meet these people.
And so what you're saying is essentially, if you give that to the kids here, they'll learn that without having to go overseas and be confused about shit.
Bro, like, get them to understand what's going on here, and that's it. That's just this business. But you're telling these kids and you're taking them to these faraway countries, they can't even do business at home. Then how are they gonna do that at an international level? With India, they know because they trading or already selling things to the billions of people that they have in their country. So when that's how Chinese is too.
When
it's time to export it, it's like, bro, we can make 10,000 TVs in one night.
Because they've actually set up the production lines there.
But now you just took a kid and put him at the height of everything who can't even finish an order for Friday for that one guy that just wants a pair of pants.
Yeah, fuck.
It makes no sense.
It's tragic, man.
Yeah, but
let's get into more positive things. We were actually starting here with the Markhams thing. So how did that happen? What is the Markhams thing? So, because explain what happened.
With me, with them. Oh, funny thing is the jacket also. What happened? I had one of these guys actually came to my space. I'm not even gonna lie. I do not know how. They'd known about me at that point in time, but like he was like the marketing whatever at Markham's.
Yeah.
So he came to Station Drive, And when he walked in my place and he saw the space, he was like, shit, I didn't even know there was something like this, you know, in this country alone, you know, or who's doing it like that. It's like the only place I've seen stuff where you have an atelier, you know, and there's this micro factory and everything looks so like spot on.
Yeah.
Even like in terms of like how the whole setup, you remember the showroom.
you had a production line. And
Yeah,
then
the production,
you had the showroom.
the showroom thingy, and it's all tiles and planks and all of that. And at that time, it was like, oh
it had
shit.
an aesthetic. It looked nice.
It looked really dope. So he was like, fuck, you know, he ended up buying like 2 jackets and he was like, okay, I'll wait for my cams, and I'm this marketing person there, and we are planning on doing events. And do you think, what could you do with us? I'm like, what do you want to do? They were like, nah, because they're changing the whole thing and they're doing this whole thing with properly going into denim, you know. And I was like, okay, cool. Then we start talking about it. It's like, okay, well, we just do customizing. And this was like 2016, beginning of the year. So we did an event here, on the one in West Street. There was like more of a pilot. They were like, shit, let's do it in Cape Town and see who did it in Cape Town.
But what was the event? Like
the whole thing, it was like, okay, cool. They were releasing this line of denim, relay denim. They were like, okay, cool. If you could customize this, what could you do to it? I was like, okay, cool, I'll do this. I sent a few samples. They were like, fuck, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. This is basically what the very same thing I've done to this jacket too. So I ended up coming to that event, and we're going to be customizing for people who are buying on the day.
So it's like the customized shoe thing that people do, but like now in denim and like
it was on denim.
So you've now got to sew stuff, you've got to scuff stuff, you've got to like glue stuff. Like
so, you know what I did? Like I was like, okay, I got them to manufacture a couple of badges. I did some myself, and I got a couple of paint stuff and scissors, everything. But instead of me doing it myself alone, I called in some students from DUT.
Nice.
For the day, and we did that, and they gave us they gave the guys a couple of vouchers, and we did our own businesses on the side. Got one of the guys, and we had this whole nice vibe going on. Something they were like, it was successful, and they love how I handled it. It was like that. We did the second one in Cape Town. So after we did that, kept the relationship going. You know, did one in Joburg a year later, but like I completely gone quiet from them, and then in 2018, this guy calls me. He's like, hey, we have this thing that we're thinking. Maybe if we set it up in the gateway, because we're trying to open up a bigger store. So we want to have something new, you know. So what are you thinking? Maybe something you can do part-time. And then I started talking about the whole custom bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of having like, you know, something that's going to be temporary, why don't you have something set that's going to be within the store, you know, where you can actually like customize the denim who wants denim to be customized. And I remember when we were doing the opening, it was just about denim. So when I said that, I was like, there was like a whole thing around like alterations, like a whole lot of people like getting the very short, nothing fits them perfectly, nothing does that. I was like, this is a fucking whole business opportunity, and I added that within the whole structure of that. Also, I ended up having a whole situation going on within the store. And it was a great business model, and it worked out very well. And yeah, so right now, like, we just terminated the contract a couple of weeks ago because of like, it's not bad business with the people, but like it's the managerial system going on there. You know, the managers are trash people. So I'm not gonna lie, like they're very fucked up. You know.
Wow, you're just gonna come out and say it.
Yeah, they're very fucked up. Like it's not the brand. It's the people that work at that store in Gateway. They didn't like me from the day coming in, and they didn't like me to the last day I left, you know, because they really made everything kind of tough for me and for everybody in how they treated the staff. But the one thing too, they were introduced with something fairly new within their grasp. It's just like you have now
autonomous units,
and it's something new. Yeah. So it was even in itself like a bit of an authority issue, you know, We had this space, and then there's this young kid that is the youngest, the stuff that we have, but we can't tell him anything.
And so that just created weird power dynamics.
Yeah, created power dynamics. And you got like the people being kind of friendly to you, you know, and to a point in time where one of the managers like actually told him, was like, they shouldn't speak to me. Anybody that's fun speaking to me is getting into problems, you know. And with me, when I hear that, they're like, but please don't tell them. And then I'll go and tell them. It's like, why are we doing this? Like, aren't I supposed to be talking to the staff? Because that's basically what we're trying to create here. It's a business upon business. But I actually kind of realized in the end, like with them, it was like, an employee to the business, and there's a person who's younger who's actually business to business with the company.
Yeah, it's
So,
they were jealous.
Even kind of talking to them, you could actually feel it.
It was resentment. Resentment essentially towards
You kind
it
of
for being like this independent.
You
like,
feel it happening, and they basically gave me trouble. I remember I was trying to leave last year, it never happened, and because I stopped and everything was talked out at that time, but like I guess the whole drama came back, but like with me, the whole thing, like when we hashed it out, like we were talking with the people up in Cape Town, because they don't know nothing about what's going on here.
Yeah.
As much as I'd want to run a business, but you can't run a business with a system or a chain system that doesn't like you or that doesn't want you thriving in whatever. Because like I had a whole lot of ideas in expansion.
Dude, I had like a similar issue with one of my sponsors that I had. Was just like the people at the top were cool with me, but the people who had to deliver the product and stuff just like would not, like, couldn't work with them.
They didn't want to.
Exactly.
That was the exact same thing. Like at the top there, the main offices, they love me to bits. Like I'm talking right now, I'm doing something with them next week in 4 ways, in Jozi.
So that's the thing. You're still cool with the brand. Like,
I'm with the brand. We're moving forward. But that's what I'm saying. Like it was something here that pissed me off because it was such a great business model. Like I even remember starting out, it was so quiet, but like I made it work so smoothly. It got to a point in time where you'd have during the week, like it's empty, and on Friday you making business, So it was kind of a struggle in the beginning, but
yeah, that's the gateway struggle. I used to work in a skate shop there, and just Monday to Thursday is just it's pointless existence.
It's the worst. Yeah, even getting to a point in time, I cut up Monday on my timeline, started from Tuesday moving forward, but like there was always the guy that worked for me. But the thing is, like I just got to a point, but like we pushed it so much, it was literally busy almost every day, bro.
Nice.
Like and that's the point in time where it was actually like these guys were actually making it harder. And it was busy every day, bro. I even had to bring back Monday. I'd come to work on Monday.
You must at least be feeling kind of okay about it now.
No, but like that's the thing. Like with me, like I've forever been an independent entity.
Exactly. Like you can walk away from stuff.
Yeah, no. But like it wasn't walking away from anything. Like with me, I still had what I was doing on the side, so it was still going on. It's still going on, but like it's just with me, I hate losing something that's successful.
Yeah, but you've got new plans now, right?
Well,
after this, it's allowed you. Like I don't know how much you want to say on the cast, but this has now opened up new opportunities for you. It's given you time to, invest in yourself more.
You see, like that's true. Well, whatever it is we were talking about earlier, it kind of opened up something else. Like it is. That's what I'm saying. Like with me, as much as it's that, but I've lost things that were negative. I've lost things that were bringing me down, but like I've never lost anything that was successful.
Okay, fair.
I don't know if you get it. I do. Like so, it's a hit, but it wasn't a hit. But at the same time, I'm just saying it was my first time ever in my life losing anything that's successful. I've lost things that were negative. They were putting me down because like it was time for me to leave. But with that, it was like something that I was working on. As much as I wasn't fully 100% hands on, like it was there, but I was making it work. It was me expanding to a whole terrain. Even how the expansion of that whole model of whatever it is that we were doing there, it was going quite strong, and it had to end at that point in time where the expansion was about to start. They kind of made it harder. I guess too, even the expansion of it too, that's what probably like made it harder, even for them. But like with me, it just opened up, like you said, it just opened up a whole different ball game. And it's a funny thing is that we're still carrying on like the relationship with them, and I love that.
But that is cool when you can just move past, the people who are creating issues for you. Just go, cool, well, I'm just gonna, like, even though this is like a successful thing for me, I can find success in other places still. Even within this structure, even under this brand, you can still, it sucks that you've given up like a working business model, but like I said, like, you're now going to move into like the project you want to work on. It's going to like help
definitely.
Do you want to mention anything about it? Like,
well, for me, like they gotta understand it's something I've been wanting to do for a very long time, because I think I've made like probably 4 attempts in the past in doing something of that sort, but I never really got time or got around to doing it. Or I mean, I do not know if it's the fear or maybe it's the drive that I said I kind of need it. But like right now, I think I'm at a good place and a good plane to actually put it out. I don't know if I wanna put it out there, but like I wanna do it when
Like just basically you're investing back into Umlazi.
Yeah, basically, and still trying to and furthering the brand. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, like there's a lot of people that have already done it.
Yeah,
And even with Pata, it's within their neighborhoods. You understand, but like you're still doing something that's international. You can touch anybody at any plane in this world right now. You don't necessarily have to now leave the village and to go into the city to make this. You can be in the village and set up a structure within the village that could go into internationally. So that's the beautiful thing, though. Because like if you look at all the best factories in Japan, they're all in the farms, but
Really?
they're producing the best denim in the world right now. Well, Japan is doing
Like,
that.
I mean, I don't know much
I'm
about
telling you,
fashion,
like-
so thank you for enlightening me.
Yeah. Well, denim was like in the States, as you know, but
Yeah,
like the time when
Levi
they changed
Strauss and
everything, these guys bought the old looms and took them back to Japan. Funny enough, they bought the old looms and they just kept in with the culture. So the culture is actually stronger there than where it was. The Americans lost it. These guys bought it, and they made it so denim is an art to them. Making the denim is an art.
Sick. And then with Tepracha as a brand, where are you going with it now? What are you doing with it? Because it's been a few different things over the years.
Yeah, kinda. I'd say, but like with me, it's forever been one thing.
Is it?
It's forever been one thing. It's forever been one thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like the only thing that I did was just like get more technical and got more. What could I say? More artisan with the brand, the manufacturing of it, like the quality with me was everything. Was everything, and throughout time, and building myself into understanding the whole business side of everything. So now you hear where I understood the streets. I've actually been and I sat there with high fashion, and I sat there, and now I've gone into where. Do you understand? Like I've transitioned from the streets to high fashion
to retail.
and to retail.
So I've had the full expansion.
Full expansion of it
through the brand Tepracha.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's
True.
been a different thing.
Oh,
like
yes,
it's
yes,
like
yes. True,
the
true.
brand's essentially evolved with
Yes.
you because you've been in all these different spaces,
Yes,
but you haven't
yes.
changed the brand. You've
ever, and I love it. I love that you actually just made me realize something else. Thank you. Like we've done it all. So now I'm just getting into a place where I'll take all of that and actually infuse it into one place and maybe try. And that's what I'm saying is like whatever it is that we're giving back to Umlazi and doing it from there as the base is definitely what's gonna further us into an international plane. That's where we're going. Because I've seen it all. I've seen it here. I've seen it in London. I've seen it in wherever, probably like a couple of countries. But now, like, it's time to actually put it back.
And
it's time to put it back in a place that I'm comfortable with.
I guess that's been the big thing of this conversation is that investing
true.
in ourselves, investing in like because that's the thing. It's like although it's weird that you're saying London and Italy and these places have taught you these things because like it's still that money should be going into creating spaces within Umlazi, creating spaces within Komashi, creating spaces wherever creative kids are.
Even here, like in Devonport, bro, like we need that where we have something that's actually doing something rather than
not just nightlife shit.
Not just nightlife shit. No, just we wanna everything that revolves around partying and drinking and enjoying that. But it's like a space where we can get practical, and that's another thing that I actually wanted to talk about. We need to start teaching our people that money is okay.
What do you mean by that?
Artists. We as much as
it's okay to make money. You don't have to like.
Yeah, no.
Starving artists.
It's okay to sit down with your people and actually talk about money. Because the one thing that we wanted to do the most of the time, we've got to complaining though. We've got to complaining that this guy didn't pay me. We've got to complaining that this brand didn't pay me. It's a culture to be sad.
Yeah.
But we are not comfortable about talking about how we make the money. We understand like anybody that sits down and actually talks about the money is like, so and so materialistic. You understand? And I'll tell you one thing, like I do not know how
because that is the thing we look like. Even myself, like I've had that. It's only like even in the last like year or so that I've really like focused more on money and like not in a materialistic way, just in a well, you need to plan like for your future so that you can actually, you know, survive like things that are going to happen. Like
those are all the things. That's what I'm saying. Is just like I think the one thing that helped me. I even said it myself. It was a conscious decision. As fucked up as it is, it was a conscious decision that I need to drift away and step away from artists. I did like stepping away in terms of like living circles or being amongst, because like I actually realized, because you want to understand, if you remember back in the day, like I never really used to talk this much or be anything or be confident to.
Not this much, but I mean, I don't know. I've heard you talk. You know,
yeah, but that's like, what I'm saying. It's like with you, I was comfortable at that time. So the only people that knew that part of me were that.
That's the thing. I can't imagine. I can't. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised at how much you've said on like record today.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's like I do that with close people.
Yeah.
You know, people that I know. But like I realized with sitting with people within the culture and while jumping around and learning and seeing people, I actually realized it's just like we've made a culture and being sad, and we're very comfortable with it that we've become creative about it. And be comfortable with it. We can sit down and actually be creative about not having anything.
Instead of actually trying to change to not having anything.
Yeah, because we know at the end of the day, it is a thing that is necessary. Like I remember, because you've been in a situation for a very long time where you were sitting or living alone at a very young age.
Yeah.
It was the exact same for me. You understand? Like I was 17 with a whole house to myself, chilling and having to provide for myself, you know? So within that, like, imagine, like, I've had, like, a span of people coming to live with me. That's how I met T. I met T through another friend. I became close to T, and T was living down the road here in Mbilo. And I ended up living with T for 4 years in my house. You get what I'm trying to say? So I've met a span of people or a string of people. And the nice thing with T, the relationship...
definitely on a different wavelength to what you're talking about.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why it was nice with him. It was just like...
He's always been driven. He's always been money focused.
We two people that are super different. And MT is like, not but like to a certain degree, he was like me because he was a nerd with a certain type of things and how he loved it, even with music too.
Dude, that's what I love about MT is he is a nerd, man.
Yes,
like the best nerd. Like,
and he's fine with it. But like, that's the thing too with me. I have a side that's that, but I'd never show it to anybody. It was him and me. Even how the music, everything, we'd sit for hours, bro. 3 days, even 48 hours, just chilling there, probably sleep for like an hour, get up, talk about music in the house. We've been through the worst of situations. But like, in a string of that, there was a couple of artists too that would come in. But you'd actually realize when you're living in that environment, you actually realize how important money is. Because nobody's giving it to you.
So what do you mean by that?
What I'm saying is nobody's giving it to you. You're young, you're living in a space. You're actually realizing how important money is. But with most of these artists, because they'll never show you their living environments at home, that they still have problems. I had a guy that was nicer than me. His pops was still alive. His mom was still alive. But he lived with us. He lived with us because, wanna know why? Because he was an artist or wanted to be successful as an artist. But like, his parents weren't like accepting to that. So he was looked at or looked down on or as a disappointed to the family type thing. So he ended up in our space. You get what I'm trying to say? But you're sitting there because he has a mom. The mom will still holler and help him out with something. So with them, like they can to a certain degree actually afford to not having anything. But with me and T, it was an entirely different situation.
Yeah,
we gotta make it in order to eat at that night. Because like if we don't, we're not eating. We're not working, we're not doing anything. So we had to make something. So those are the dynamics where you start realizing it's like, okay, cool. This type of person is right having because he gives me a different direction. It makes me understand other things. And then there's this guy that actually gets comfortable with not having anything because he's trying to get this or where he gets to something, but it's still not reality driven. It's a dream. And he's not being practical about it.
I mean, I've definitely been that guy before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. That's me though. I've become that guy. But that's what I'm saying. When I started meeting people like T, he has a different perspective to what I know. And then it went on. I met this other guy, Steve, too. He comes from a family of business. He doesn't understand what being broke is. He's being broke is probably having 200,000 in his account his business is still going on.
But I think that is the problem with growing up broke, is you do think you're always going, like, I'm talking from experience here, like, you know, I've always thought, yeah, I'm just going to be broke forever. And now, like, you know, I've been reading and learning, and I'm like, no, like, you can actually, like, if you're smart about things, if you budget, if you save, if you try and make more money than you're currently making.
And
like,
and it's okay, it's okay to actually alter your own dream a bit, but like, because we have these things, and I have this dream, and I want to become this person. So you'll be an asshole so much, and to a lot of people that are actually trying to give you a different perspective, because you want a dream, you're dreaming a certain.
Yeah, you're like, you guys don't understand, when you don't understand.
But with me in the past, I remember there was a point in time where I would never even open an email from Markham's, because I don't like anything. There was like what commercial in that sense, or corporate in that sense.
Yeah.
I would have never. Even when I did it, like I was feeling shitty about it.
Yeah, I'm having some conversations about this podcast that, like, you know, might happen, might not happen, or whatever. But like, yeah, like when I was younger, like the people I'm talking to, like, would be like, not a fuck would I ever like
fuck with this person.
But I mean, now I'm just like, no, like, it's okay to work with, you know, like, it's okay to work with people.
It's okay to make a living. It's okay, like, it's okay.
Exactly.
Like, it took me a while, I'm not gonna lie to you. It took me a while to understand it's actually okay, something to have something.
Why do you think you had the thing of, like, you know, feeling that way of, like, it's not okay to have something?
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
what created that feeling for you?
You don't realize. That's what I'm saying. It's just like we sit down as artists. Like, the one thing that we want to be is artists. But like, if you realize, you look at how America is. Mothers actually understand, as if like my child is born and my child is like 3 years old, and I hear him dropping 5 lines of rap. My son is gonna become a rapper. And I'm gonna be the mom manager, you know, you understand?
Yeah.
And we're gonna have this fly ass house, but like,
that's a fuck up for the kid.
No, I know, it's a fuck up for the kid, but like, what I'm saying is just like the level of business around creativity and everything. It's a reality. The mom understands it now. The mom knows if my child shows talent, it can be a business around that.
And in South Africa, do you see that's happening more or no?
No, right now, that's what I'm saying. Maybe we're getting into it where we maybe understand, but I haven't seen it as much because everybody stays away from the topic of talking about money. The only time we talk about money or put it out there is if
rap music.
Oh no! Besides, leave those guys apart. Okay, let's just talk. The only time besides rap music is the only time when we're complaining.
Yeah.
Then we put it on Twitter as like so and so fuck me up. Like you saw how Rams just came out now with that whole I did the SABC logo. You understand? There's this other guy, Rams Deluxe.
Okay.
He's a graphics designer. He did the SABC one logo and he's talking about it. And the funny thing is, he's talking about it now and he's talking about how he's never been paid. But with me, I'll tell you one thing. I remember in 2008, it was in Melville, and I just was cool with those guys from the Night Gallery, which being Malum Cool Cat, MK Fresh, Sanele now, Stilo, and all these people, and more, man. I just got acquainted to those people, and I just went on my first trip to Joburg as an artist, and I was super young at that time. And funny thing is, I met that guy, and he was in that very circle, Roms. And when he was talking about it at that time, like, it was like, shit, this guy is legit, and everybody was talking. It's like, yo, you see the SAPC one logo? I'm like, yeah, that's the guy that did it.
And that's like,
and listen to this. I remember I seen that happen. And this is like, what, 2007? How many years ago? Probably 12 years ago?
Yeah, I don't think people know, like, how, like, Boys and Bucks was becoming a thing, like, a long time before.
No, but like, with that, like, they weren't even a thing.
They were friends. Like,
they were friends, but like, it was like that whole Night Gallery and concept thing.
Yeah, I've chatted to Pico about that. He's told me lots about like
crazy.
how that like place like basically created a lot of stuff that's happened in South Africa.
And imagine this, I met that guy there, and I think he was a DJ on the side too. And that how big that was, and how it was afloat with him at that time. But imagine now, 12 years later, you see him online, and he's talking about how he's never been paid for that. But back then, like, there was the thing that actually set him high, set him apart from us. Well, so that guy was okay with not being paid back then,
but that's
for
what
his bragging rights.
But that's what we were talking about with street cred, you know, as well. Like, for us, like, we didn't get anything out of it, but at the same time, we got a lot out of it. So
But like, that's what I was saying. But though he's coming back now, I guess back then he was okay with that. And he wasn't supposed to be okay with that at that point. But at that point, I saw him like a god when I was looking at him. But now I'm sitting here and I'm looking at him online, talking about it and doing all these things and making this big campaign about it and whining and crying. And I'm like, this wasn't the thing back then, you know? Like, he wasn't this small.
Yeah.
He wasn't this small. But it was like looking at him back then and looking at him now and what he's doing. And it's the very same guy. It's not what we're supposed to be. We need to talk about that's a dialogue that we need to put out there as artists. We need to understand from point blank.
What do you mean?
That we need to get paid.
Yeah, from the start.
We need to understand that. Like, it can't be. I can't be sitting.
But don't you see him complaining about it now? At least as
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he's making the conversation now. It took him 12 years. That's what I'm saying. Is like, we didn't need to happen from the get go. We need to understand that. That's that. And those are the topics that I want. Those are the topics that I think would move us forward as artists. I think those are the topics and conversations that could make Durban the very same Durban that you were ideally talking about years ago and that you wanted.
Yeah.
Those are the dialogues that are going to make Durban what we want. You understand? Because like I remember back then, like
I don't know if the Durban that I saw will ever happen.
No, but no. But you're sitting there. You're sitting at your own apartment. You bought that equipment. That's your money.
Yeah.
You understand? You're paying here a month. You understand? You were just making me coffee. You need to buy that. But you making that. Before it wasn't like that. We weren't chilling like this.
No, fair enough.
You understand? You're chilling. You got art on your wall that you bought. You understand? Like, we're sitting here with your technology. It's your money. Before, like, I would have taken a taxi. I would have been walking down sweating, but I just parked my car.
I mean, I'm still.
But you understand, like,
walking.
we are those two people that actually. No, it doesn't matter though. But like with me too, even with that car was a business, because it's in the Uber business and doing all of that.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, that's what it's for. But I'm driving it because they smacked it at the back,
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm still sorting that out. So that's what I'm saying though. It's like
you
that.
got business, like
We those people now, but like we were those people that was sitting there. We went to street camp. You didn't have money. I didn't have anything.
Dude, we were so fucking broke.
Bro, we were fucking broke. We couldn't do anything.
And that's the thing. We should have got paid for that shit.
Bro, we didn't have anything when we left. Me and T didn't have chow in the crib. Yeah. We didn't have money and we were waiting for Friday to actually get money because I had orders being picked up.
Dude, we were genuinely struggling with
but like that's what I'm saying. But like it's something different now, though. But that's what I'm saying. It's just like because now we're making a conversation and you making your dream happen. I drove and I came to you and it's okay. We're moving forward. Yeah. So that's a different life. But like think about it now, having like a whole army that's doing that. If I move from here, I went to talk to a kid about an idea and he probably has like 10,000 rand in his account and I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey guy, I've been making stuff happen with 1,000 rand. Like 10,000 is okay.
Yeah, 10,000 is a lot.
And that's what I'm saying. And like we're moving and doing something. So we have people that are capable. We have people that have money. You understand? So those are dialogues that we need to talk about, and they could make. That's the only reason Joburg is what Joburg is.
It's because it's actual money moving around.
Yeah, it's money. That's
not just favors.
Yeah, no. Ricky Rake comes from a rich family.
Yeah.
AKA comes from a good family. Anati comes from a super wealthy family. You understand?
Jozi, from what I understand, also comes
from Jozi comes from a very good family. Davido comes from a rich family. Burna Boy comes from a rich family. Burna Boy's dad, like, used to be like Fela Kuti's manager. That's the crazy thing though. But I love Burna Boy. Like, it's on top of my playlist right now.
I mean, all the artists you mentioned are dope artists. No,
but
like they've had money behind them.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to paint. I'm trying to paint that these guys have been okay. They've been okay. Like it's already been said. If you look at the guy, Sugar Smacks from Squatter Camp, he was doing TV, Dynamite Dick Clubs dudes as we were youngsters. I remember, like, cause like a friend of mine dated his sister, his younger sister. His house got doors. You can't even see the house, bro. Like the gates, you can't even see the house. It's in the hills. You get what I'm trying to say? Like they've been okay. Money is a topic that needs to be put out there and it needs to be understood. Like. It could make a difference. Like I'm telling you, bro. Like it could make a whole different Durban, like that. Because I understand. Because there's an exchange of it.
So how do we get this money? Like how do we get this money into Durban?
We need to start being money orientated. That's it. Like, I understand. Like
so you think Durban's biggest flaw is that we're too focused on the art.
On the arts, yes, because I don't know why. Because we come from a slow road place. Like it's easy to survive in Durban in terms of even money wise.
Yeah,
you
don't need dude. That's the thing. You don't need a lot of money to survive in Durban.
Yeah, you can fairly survive, but like that's what I'm saying. We need to make money. The dialogue that needs to be pushing us forward. Like I even remember I was talking to this lady, a designer, Uzad. That she used to be down here, but she's in Musgrave now. She does amazing, like proper expensive ladies wear.
Okay.
Yeah, Uzad. Bro, like I'm talking like if she steps out of a place, like a client meetings out, they already know like it's 500 down. That's a consultation. Done and dusted. You understand? Like you need to understand.
But when you're younger, you don't know how to ask for that money.
No. But like that's what I'm saying. It's just like it needs to be conversations that are open. Like with me before.
But you're gonna feel scared when you're young and small.
I know, but like that's what I'm saying. It's just like with a lot of things you would be scared with a lot of things because you wanna know why you don't know.
Yeah. Because
you don't know, but now you know. It's just like it's like okay, cool. If I go and do this with this brand, they need to understand that I'm stepping out. It is time for me. That needs to be run down. They need to know when I leave my house and I'm going to get a flight that is taking me to an event that they want me in. I need to know that the 350 to the airport is money accounted for. Before you never used to know that because you just go to the airport and get your flight.
Exactly, you would get your like whatever it was. So like say you're getting paid.
Like with me, it's like my brother took me from Umlazi to straight to the airport. It's 600 rand. Like that's fucking Uber money to me. I'm telling them, we put them down. That's what I'm saying. It's like
I'll tell you, my trick these days is to bill for the Uber and then take the shuttle.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's things like that. That's what I'm saying. Like with me, it's my brother. I'll take my brother. Come and pick me up. I'll give him 150 petrol. We're going there, but I charge 600 rand. That's just what it is. You know, but like that's what I'm saying. It's just like it's conversations that kids need to know. Because like it doesn't necessarily have to come with a certain time.
But it is the insecurity thing. I think you don't feel like you're worth that. You know, you feel like, and you're worried they're gonna say no. Like for me, that's been my biggest issue. Is always that. Like I don't want to ask for too much because if I ask for too much, then people are gonna say no. But what I've learned is if you don't like actually value yourself, if you don't ask for a lot, people don't see you as professional.
Yeah.
Like people just like.
No, say it.
Like people would rather you like charge them
like
10 grand than 2 sometimes.
You know, with other times they'll say something and I'll talk about it and then I'll tell them it's like I want this much. They're like, nah, but we do this and just go silent. This just me letting you know. It's just like it's not gonna happen without me. My decision is like, okay, cool, we're going for this. I'm like, yes, that's what we're going for. That's it. It doesn't matter. But like those are the things that. That's why I like these lines like from Marcus Garvey's like without confidence you twice defeated in life, but with confidence you have won before the games begun. So you need to understand confidence is key. That's what we need to teach the kids. Confidence. Because like that's what I'm saying, like compared to
I still need to learn some confidence, but I get you.
I'm getting there, that's what I'm saying, like with I myself too, but like I think that's the one thing that actually made me win with a lot of things. It's like my mother had convinced me a long time ago from a young age. It's like my son, you this, you that. So now she's gone but like there's nobody that can tell me it's not that. Because she's the person that told me it's that. So if she can't come back and tell me that it's not this, then I'm not wrong.
And I mean you've proven her right multiple times, so and
that's why I try to do all the time, and that's just what it is. You know? Even like I even remember I shared a picture of her, I was talking about it. I was like, hey my so and so you raised the queen or you raised the king, you raised the king. But now they know, you know, because they've seen traces of it, because it's a certain confidence that was instilled back then, but like nobody told me that it wasn't. So I carry on with it, and that's what the kids need to know moving forward.
And also, I think that's what parents need to know is teach your kids confidence in themselves.
Yes.
Self-belief.
The money dialogue is important. Like with Durban, it makes us difference, but at the same time too, it makes it's a weakness. I need to get the money. You need to. I did that. Like we're growing now. If we are to create an industry, that's the only things that we gotta do.
Cool. Well, I think that covers a lot. And I think there's a lot of good advice there in terms of the money side of things.
Hey, bro.
And just people not. Yeah, man. You don't have to like wallow in like, you know, your poorness or lack of like, you know, resources as a creative. Like there are networks available, there are avenues available to you, and there are things you can learn when it comes to the financial side of things. Like I'm saying this as someone who didn't focus on that early enough. And
that's the thing. I'm talking from that point to myself, you know, because I'm still in that and I'm learning. And I want to get to a place where I've learned whatever it is and I give it back to. And it just create a whole lot of things. Because like if we have a whole lot of kids that can afford stuff, like we can grow too.
Exactly.
They buying from us, you know. And they paying you for the gigs. They paying to come to your events. And you understand, like we can't have guest lists. We can't.
Amen, bro. But like, yeah. So I agree with you there. One of the biggest things that will help Durban grow is money.
That's why, like, if I go to a friend's event, like they'll all tell you, bro, I've never asked for guest list.
No,
I don't like it. Even I want to pay. Like, no, I want to pay.
Yeah, even my show the other day, you paid at the door. I was
just like, you took time. Like, time is the most precious commodity that we have in this life.
Of course, but I'm happy, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, my friends in for free because.
But like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I love my friends.
That doesn't need to be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing. Like, we need to understand it's like fair trade, and that's why like how every other person or every other country is actually thriving.
Yeah,
it's trade.
But fair trade, as you say.
Yeah, fair trade, and that's one thing we need to understand. That trade is fine. Like paying a friend for an event is fine.
Paying for the service.
Paying for whatever it is that I have is fine. Then we can get to a point in time. It's like, okay, cool, bro. I've got like this and that and that and that. I can trade you for this if I don't have money, but I'm trading you with time.
And not just giving like.
No, I'm not. I'm giving you something that I made with my time, so it cost me something.
So I want something back from your time, like whether it's money
it's
or
trade. It's trade. We need to understand the power of it. That's it.
Cool. Amen, bro. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, I know I blabber lots, but hey, bro.
That's the whole point, dude. This is a podcast.
Yeah, that's it.
Shut for your time.
Easy.